Hey Adventurers, today is a quick video about why we love fantasy. At least we're hoping it'll be quick. Before we get started though, we do need to let you guys know that there will be a slight schedule change, and that is instead of 2 videos a week, we're going to be switching to 1 video a week, and that'll be every Monday. And the reason for this is because we just simply don't have enough time to do both videos.
Hopefully this won't be a permanent thing, but let's jump into the video.
Yeah, we don't really have a great format for these yet because this is only the second one we've done, but we really just have a couple of points that we will give and then expand upon them as to why we love the subject matter so much. So in this case it's fantasy, and my first point is that it allows creativity to thrive without the bounds of natural laws or history. So that means that you can create a fantasy world where characters can fly or can teleport or do any of these amazing things, and you don't have to necessarily follow the laws of nature, the scientific laws, and you can also change how history was written, or just have something completely different than history, have a completely new world.
My first point for why I love fantasy is because it's imaginative in a very whimsical sort of way, in a way that you often can't imagine things in your own head. You can see in other people's stories because they have different branches of their imagination that can bring things to life. And it's always unique. It's each fantasy, whether it's cliche or not, has its own unique trademarks. That's really, really cool to see.
My second point is that it allows stories and themes that would normally anger/annoy someone to be presented in ways that are less blatant and in your face. What I mean by this is I'm specifically thinking about stories like the Chronicles of Narnia, where it's very, very Christian based, where it's a fantasy but it's got very strong Christian themes. And because it's a fantasy, Lewis was able to present those in ways that you can, if you don't agree with that philosophy or that way of thinking, you can look past it and just enjoy it for being a fantasy. But you can also kind of take more from it than just, oh, this is a cool fantasy.
Yeah, there's some real strong themes in there because they're biblically based. The other thing I really like about fantasy is that the plots usually have subplots or main points that are really unfamiliar to us just because it's taken place in a different world. They're adding to the plot because each of the subplots and the main plot obviously are based out of this very, very unique world.
So, my next point is that it allows for exploration of ideas and themes that are not possible with most other genres. I don't really have a great example for this, but it's kind of the idea that there's certain things that can be done in fantasy that just cannot be done in historical fiction or contemporary fiction or something that's based on a true story. So there's certain things that you can do within fantasy that cannot be done in most other genres.
Another reason why I really like fantasy is because for me it's sort of a double way to research. I'm currently writing a fantasy and I don't have a lot of fantasy stories under my belt, so I get the treat of reading and enjoying a story but also learning from it. And I'm very observant when I read fantasy. I pick up on the things that I really like and I notice the things I don't like and I try to apply them appropriately into my story world.
So the last point that I have on this list, although there's probably plenty more as to why I love fantasy, is that there are so many different ways a fantasy world can be built. You can literally have Earth exactly as it is, except with a few magical abilities or creatures mixed in, as in the case with Percy Jackson. That's pretty much the world as it is with just an extra layer to it, or Harry Potter even. But you can also have entirely new worlds with soft magic systems, which basically means they have no rules, or you can have hard magic systems, which means they have extremely intense rules. You can't break the rules. There may be some ways to bend them, but you can't really break them. And so there's so many different variations on how you can build a fantasy world, and it's so cool because each of them is different.
Another reason why I love fantasy is because I really like seeing what daily life is for people, even in real world settings. But when you put it in a fantasy setting, it adds a whole new twist. In the day-to-day life, things that are normal for them are really intriguing for me. And what's cool about this list is fantasy isn't one of my favorite genres, but these are the reasons why I do love fantasy, why I love some fantasies, even if it's not my favorite genre to read.
Well, that's the end of our list. There's plenty more reasons I'm sure that we could both think of if we spent lots of hours thinking about it, or even maybe not so many hours. But this is the second video we've done in this Why We Love series. The first one was Why We Love Reading, which I'll have linked up in the corner. This is kind of just a way for you guys to get to know us a little bit better while still giving us videos to make. No, so that we can also explore for ourselves why we love these certain aspects
Right.
of things. So thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give us a like and
Comment down below which of these you relate to, and let us know what some of the reasons you love fantasy are.
yeah, thanks for watching. Stay warm.